We chose the worst game to lose like that. The absolute worst game. At this point, I rather would have lost to Man United, bro. I rather would have lost to Man United or Tottenham than West Ham. That was the worst game to lose, bro. Absolute worst. That's painful. Losing to West Ham at home like that, everything went wrong. That's very painful, man. What a terrible day. I literally just almost want to just play Fulham right now and forget this game. This was the absolute worst day to choose to play like that. I mean, we played well. We had 30 shots. We didn't take any of them. We'll talk about that. But in terms of losing a game like that at home, the first loss at home of the season, the first loss at home in quite a while since last season, that was the worst time to lose a game. The worst game to lose, man. I rather would have lost to Man United or Tottenham, to be honest. All this Rice thing, this year, this whole 2023, West Ham have now done us like 3 times. Obviously, they eliminated us from the Carabao Cup this season. Last season, they're one of the teams that basically killed our title hopes as well, and they've beaten us at home as well in the league. That's that's a nightmare, man. That's an absolute nightmare. We definitely need to talk about a lot of things today, especially the strikers. There isn't the finishing. There's no way you can have 30 shots and not score a goal. I think we had close to 50 touches in their box and we didn't score a goal. That's very painful. 30 shots and we didn't score a goal. We had 30 shots and we didn't score a goal. 30. That's a lot of shots. West Ham only had like 5 shots and they scored 2 goals. That's terrible. I'm so happy like the January transfer window is opening. Last season, I was saying we don't need a striker. Oh, believe me, I've changed my mind this season completely. We definitely need a striker to come help out Jesus, Saka, and obviously Martinelli. Martinelli's out of form completely. The decision making is terrible. Saka has been marked by 3 or 4 players every single game. Very tough. Jesus today missed too many chances once again. I think Odegaard was the only one who was really trying. He was creating everything for us. Trossard, I did a poll intentionally just before the game asking who do you guys want to start in the number 8 position since Havertz is not there. And I asked Jorginho, Smith Rowe, Trossard. 52% said Trossard and 31% said Smith Rowe. So many of you wanted Trossard to start in that number 8 position. He wasn't good at all as well. I actually really missed Havertz. There's so many times you were putting the ball in the box and there was no one running into the box. The box was empty. So many crosses, so many shots, so many desperate shots, but the finishing was not there. Like a part of me is even thinking, I can see you, Nippon, enjoy yourself. Part of me is thinking like, even if you give me Solanke right now, I'll take him. At least he can score. I'm so serious. Even if you ask me to take Chris Wood right now, just for the last 10 minutes of a game, I'd actually take him. We crossed so many balls in the last 30, 40 minutes and there's no one to score. There's no point of crossing the ball. Absolute no point. Jesus had 2 free headers, missed them both. Nketiah is not getting himself into those positions. We are just crossing the ball and missing way too many chances. Maybe this is a good thing that it has happened right before January because we definitely need to sign a striker. We 100% need to sign a striker, and not just a striker. We need at least 3 players because of the bench. I'll come to the team news and everything. Looking at that bench, that's not a good enough bench, man. That's not a good enough bench. If a day like this when Martinelli and Jesus are not playing well, we literally do not have anyone else to bring on. Nelson does not get enough game time, so his confidence is short. Probably Nketiah today, both of them came on, nothing much happened. So basically, if we don't have Havertz starting and have Trossard on the bench to bring on, we basically don't have anyone to come on. If we get a game like this where we are losing 2-0, we literally do not have anyone to come on, and that is a bad thing. Because if it was Man City today, they could have brought on Grealish or Doku or players on the bench. If it was Liverpool, they could have brought on Jota, Nunes, whoever is on the bench. We don't have a bench, man. We don't have a bench. I know part of it is because we have injuries to Partey and all those guys, but the bench is not good enough. We cannot be. We are actually lucky that despite all the performances and everything, we are still second on the table going into the January transfer window. We need to capitalize. We can't let what happened the last 2 years to happen again. 2021, we needed a striker. We didn't get a striker. We ended up finishing 5th, like 2 points behind Tottenham in 4th. Last season as well, injuries cost us at the end of the season. So this time around, we cannot let that cost us again. I'm sure we cannot depend on the likes of Tomiyasu and Smith Rowe because of the injuries. You need to get players in January. We don't have a bench. If things go like that, we just don't have anyone to bring. West Ham. That's the worst game to lose. West Ham. There's three specific games I was looking at home. West Ham, Liverpool, and Newcastle for obvious reasons. And West Ham to beat us. The last, you see the way Rice gave away the penalty, was just like, oh my goodness. Rare saved Rice today because that would have been a calamity. Like it was 3-0 and Mavropanos scored and Rice gave away a penalty. That would have been a shocking game. Absolutely sure. It was already a shocking game, but that would have been a nightmare. After this, I'm definitely just going to bed. I'm not going to go online. I just don't want to see all the memes. I'm sure they're absolutely enjoying themselves. They beat us. They took their chances. They defended well. Their goalkeeper did really, really well. Painful for us. Very, very painful losing a game like that at home, especially in a title race. You need to win all your home games. You literally need to win all your home games. I remember 2018, 2019, when Liverpool and Man City are fighting for the title, and Man City beat Liverpool like by 1 point or something at the end. The next season, 2019, 2020, Liverpool basically won every single game until the new year. Like I think they won like 18 of the first 19 games. They were unbeaten. The first loss came like in February, just before COVID, and they didn't lose a single home game that season. They like won every single home game that season. That is what you need to do when you're fighting for a title against Liverpool and Man City. You have to win all your home games. At worst, you get a draw. But losing 2-0, almost 3-0 at the end, absolutely terrible. I can see Leah talking about the goal. Yeah, the ball went out, but I don't think we can really talk about that because it still would have been 1-0. So I just not speak about that because if it was 1-0, something else. But yeah, I know the ball went out, but they still beat us. We didn't score. We didn't take any of our chances. 30 shots on goal, didn't take any of our chances. We had 5 big chances today. We missed them all. 5 big chances, missed them all. I think Martinelli was one of them. Jesus is one of them. Now, Jesus and Martinelli are very good players. They're still in my start lineup and all. But at the moment, Martinelli is not playing well. That's why you need someone on the bench to come on and play instead of Martinelli, even if it's for 1-2 games. And Jesus as well. Maybe to be a good thing to play Jesus in the number 10 role next to Odegaard and just, have someone else up front to finish the goals because everything else Jesus does well. But today, especially the finishing was absolutely terrible. Those headers around the 60th minute, you have to take at least one of them. If it's 2-1, things change. Probably West Ham drop off even more. They start defending even more and you can get a chance to get a second goal. But the moment you miss that, everyone's confidence goes short and, time is ticking and that's it. And nothing else is going to happen. So you have to take those chances. Losing home games like that, you cannot lose home games, man. You have to win every single home game. At worst, get like 2 draws. And we've lost today and we've drawn like a couple of games at home, which is not good. If you even look at Liverpool don't lose home games. They've won like every single one of them plus 2 draws recently. Even a team like Newcastle, they've played up until December to see their first loss at home. Aston Villa as well, they don't lose at home too. You have to have a good record at home. Playing against those teams, competing against Man City and Liverpool, it's tough. It's tough. Back 3-4 years ago, a game like this would have lost and it would have been like, what, fine, let's just bounce back. These days, man, we like in such a different category competing with Man City and Liverpool. One loss feels like devastating, especially if you lose at home like that. Absolutely devastating. And if you look at the stats, 30 shots on goal without scoring, you can only blame ourselves. Now, I don't think we played badly, but finishing again, terrible. Just like the Aston Villa game once again. We've lost 3 games in the Premier League this season, and 2 of them is because of our missed chances. Against Aston Villa, we should have at least gotten a draw there, and today we should never have lost that game, man. Another thing on top of that, conceding from a set piece once again. We had the best team in terms of scoring corners the last couple of years, but the last like 1 month, 2 months, we're conceding a lot of set pieces. Starting with the 2 from Luton, Fulham scored a late goal against us from a corner. Today again from a corner as well. Devastating, absolutely devastating. So let's go to the team news that I had today. I can see there's a lot of West Ham fans and Chelsea fans enjoying themselves. Well, enjoy yourselves, man. This was the Arsenal team today. As you can see, in terms of the starting lineup, I mean, there's nothing much that we can do. I know Timber and Tomiyasu are not fit. Probably if Timber and Tomiyasu were there, they're the ones who would have started that Liverpool game instead of Zinchenko. Maybe Zinchenko would have started today. Maybe if Zinchenko's not on form like he is not right now, you would have had someone else playing there. So that is the injuries, the fullback position. The rest of the defense, Gabriel Saliba, Ben White, absolutely no problem. Midfield, Rice, Trossard, Odegaard. Many people chose Trossard to start in that position instead of Havertz, but I have to admit 100% I missed Havertz today, 100%. We were putting in so many crosses, there was no one there. And then up front, Saka, Jesus, and Martinelli. That front four, they scored a lot of goals this season. They haven't scored enough this season. Obviously, Martinelli has scored like only 2 goals. Odegaard hasn't scored enough. Jesus has scored like 4 or 5 in the league as well, not enough. And Saka's been contributing in terms of goals and assists, but the numbers are not as much as they were last season. So that is where you need a bench, because now nothing else can happen. We usually have the same subs every single game. This is what we usually do every single game. If we are losing or drawing or winning, whatever, we usually take off Havertz for Trossard or take off Trossard for Havertz. We take off Jesus for Nketiah, and we take off bring on Jorginho for someone else. That is what you do every single game. The 2 players that usually come on most, Trossard and Nketiah for Jesus and Havertz or for Martinelli. That is what happens every single game. So our subs are very predictable because we don't have anyone else on the bench. It's literally you can 100% predict who's going to come on. Now, if you had like 2 or 3 more players on that bench, it would have been more like in a better situation. Why, like, you can, if Saka is not playing well, you can take him off. If Jesus is not playing well, you can take him off. If Trossard is not playing well, you can take him off. At the moment, if the way we took off Martinelli for Nelson and took off Zinchenko for Nketiah, you look at the rest of the bench, there's nothing you can do. Even if Jesus is playing terribly, who are you going to bring on? You're not going to bring on Nwaneri in such a game. There's literally nothing we can do. That is why in the January transfer window, you cannot let that cost. They're actually showing it on TV. Nketiah scored 5 goals this season in the league. Saka 5, Havertz 4, Odegaard 4, Jesus 3. And from those goals, from those 5 Saka goals, I'm pretty sure 2 of them are penalties. And from the 4 Odegaard goals, I think 2 of them are penalties as well. So from open play, I think Saka and Odegaard and Martinelli, all of them, they've not scored enough this season. Now, somehow we've still been top of the table, and we're still like a couple of points behind Liverpool somehow, despite not having any goals up front. But we definitely need to sort that out in January. The last 2 years, our objectives have been basically smashed because we didn't sign players in January. First, 2021, we didn't sign for Vlahovic and any other players. It cost us. We didn't finish in the top 4 last season. The injuries to Saliba and Pat and all those guys cost us. We didn't have anyone else on the bench. We had to play the likes of Holding. We can't let that happen again. We have to sign players in January. We still have the half of the season to go. Basically, right now, I'm looking at Man City and Liverpool both ahead of us in terms of the table, because Man City have a game in hand and they have a better goal difference. I've already counted 3 points for them there. So basically, Liverpool and Man City ahead of us. So we have another 19 games. We have to do like what Man City usually do every season, and we have to do what we did last season around January, February, where we won like 7-8 games in a row. We have to do that again. We literally have to do that again, because right now even winning 2 games is not enough. So that was the Arsenal team, and then on the bench, as I said, not enough. Nketiah, Nelson, Nwaneri, Smith-Rowe, Jorginho, Elneny, Cedric, Kiwior, and Ramsdale. Now, before the game, obviously Arsenal fans are confident. West Ham fans themselves, I saw a few tweets and all that. They are confident, saying, listen, we beat them in the Carabao Cup. We can beat them right now. They're not all that. They said all that. So I still predicted a win, obviously, especially, the last 2 away games that West Ham have played, they lost 5-0 to Fulham and 5-1 to Liverpool. So they conceded 10 goals in the last 2 away games, and he didn't manage to score 1 against them. This was me today. This was me. Like, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe what has just happened. 30 shots on goal, no goal. Terrible. But the game started out okay. The first 10 minutes, Odegaard was looking great. Saka was looking great. Rice was making tackles in midfield. Ward-Prowse had a shot, but I mean, we are the ones who are dominating the possession and all that. There's a time the possession was short and we had like 90% in possession. They only had like 10%. We were getting a few openings. Odegaard was looking confident. Saka was getting on the ball. Rice was winning his tackles in midfield. White was going forward and putting in a couple of crosses. Trossard had an attempt on goal as well. I mean, good start. You do. Sometimes you watch a game and you're like, this is a good start. We are going to win the game. I mean, that was a good start, but we didn't actually get the goal. And the worst thing to do against a team like West Ham is to concede fast, because David Moyes, by the way, that was David Moyes' first time winning at the Emirates. Even worse, like there's so many wrong things that went on today. But even if they score fast, you still have a chance. You still have a chance, but it's very hard because they can just park the bus and they are absolutely scary in terms of counter attack. They can just have Bowen and Kudus running at you, and you're going to be in big trouble, big trouble. So they scored fast. Ball went out or whatever it did, but whatever. Bowen gave them the Bowen crossed the ball and Sushek scored 1-0. 12 minutes to go. 12 minutes gone, 1-0 down. Not the end of the world. You still have a lot of time to come back. You still have basically a full 8 minutes to come back. Absolutely no problem conceding fast. Although it's been such a long time since he conceded fast at home. I think it was like back in August. I think from all the games that I've seen the last 3-4 months, I think we scored fast against Tottenham. We scored fast against Man City. We scored fast against Burnley, Sheffield. We don't go one goal behind the Emirates. I think it has not happened since August. I think Fulham were the last team to score fast against us at the Emirates. It's been long, and even not scoring at the Emirates has been very long. 1-0 to them, whatever. You still have time to come back. It's not the end of the world. We got on the ball a lot more again. Saka had a header that was saved by Areola. Areola was really great for them, fair enough. Ben White had a header as well that went just over the bar. Martinelli missed, a very clear chance. Maybe it should have been a penalty before that, but the moment it falls on Martinelli, you have to score that. Saka was putting Emerson under a lot of pressure on that side. He even hit the post like a few moments later. He hit the post as well. It was looking like if you're going to get a goal, it was going to come from Saka or Odegaard's magic on that right side. They were creating a few chances. Saka could have had a goal but basically 2 goals after West Ham scored. But he didn't. He hit the post. Areola made a couple of good saves, and halftime 1-0. It was still not the end of the world, but I did say at halftime to someone I was watching the game with, don't let them score a second goal, because if they score a second goal, it's over. You're not going to get 3 goals. I know they've conceded 5 goals back-to-back away games, but in a game like this where they're actually coming to just defend, you're not going to get 3 goals in this game. It's going to be a nightmare. And to concede to Mavropanos, man, that was his first Premier League goal against Arsenal. He used to play for us and he was crap, and he comes back to the Emirates and scores against us from a set piece as well. We're supposed to be the best team in terms of set pieces in the league. We are the best team in terms of set pieces, scoring them the last 2 years, but recently been conceding a lot. And that picture of someone scoring a set piece against us, it pops up in my head so many times when things are going bad, because I think it happened against Fulham this season. Last season, I still remember it happening against Southampton. That was their 3rd goal from a set piece. I'm pretty sure it was Ward-Prowse again crossing that ball again last season for Southampton. He did the same thing today as well. I was screaming, don't give them set pieces. Free kicks, corners. Ward-Prowse is like David Beckham. He's going to put in the cross and he's going to punish you. But that picture of us conceding set pieces, don't concede a lot, but every time we consider set piece, it's never like we have like a 3-goal lead and a team scores a set piece to make it 3-1. It's always like we are down 1-0 at the Emirates and a team gets a corner and they score to make it 2-0. I don't know if you guys have noticed, every time you consider set piece, it's always something to do with an equalizer or, a team like going 2 goals ahead at the Emirates. We never consider set piece when like a 3-1, 3-0 up. We never. It's only when things are going bad, it gets worse when a team scores a set piece against us. And that from that point on, 2-0 to West Ham, it was a nightmare, man. I was already thinking about how they're going to banter us. Declan Rice chose the wrong team. He should have gone to Man City. We've beaten you twice this season. The elephant has fallen. I was just thinking about all the memes. I'm dreading what is going on online right now. 2-0. I mean, we've come back from that before. We came back from 2-0 down against Chelsea this season. Last season, we were 2 goals down against Bournemouth. They came back and scored 3 goals. But, West Ham don't have the best defense in the world, but, we don't want to go 2 goals down against them when they're coming to defend against you. They can do the job. They can do the job against you. And again, even if you're 2-0 down, you look at the bench and I'm like, yeah, there's a problem. We don't really have anyone who can come on and completely change the game. We don't have anyone at all. We don't have anyone who can come on and completely change the game. I don't think we can actually choose right now, I don't think we can actually choose. Right now, I'm not going to choose players to come to Arsenal. Even if I hear Solanke is coming, I'm going to say, hell yes, just bring him. I just need someone who can score, someone who can just, get across and just score. Solanke has scored more than 10 goals this season. I don't care. If you want to bring him, just bring someone. Just bring a striker. Because looking at that bench, honestly, I'd rather have Solanke than El Neni on that bench. Am I right? I'd rather even have Chris Wood on that bench than having a young Nwaneri on that bench who doesn't have an experience. I don't care. Just get any striker. I don't care. Even if you can get 2, just get anyone. Play Jesus and Odegaard behind the strike and let's see what we can do. we need a striker, even if it's Solanke, even if it's Chris Wood, even if you want to bring Sanogo back, I don't care. Just bring any striker. We cannot choose right now. We are missing way too many chances. 30 shots without scoring. I'm pretty sure Solanke would have scored even one of them. So right now, I don't think we're in a position to choose. Tony is obviously the first one on the list. Get him, because those crosses we are putting in, Tony will probably score at least one of them. So, and every time you go down 1-0, 2-0, you know how many crosses we put into the box? Do you see how many crosses Saka, Ben White, and Odegaard are putting into the box? So many. There's no one to score. I don't expect Trossard to come into the box and out to jump Ogbonna. I don't expect, even Jesus, I don't think is the best head of the ball in terms of getting in behind, like in the middle of big defenders and scoring a header. I think Tony and players like Solanke can do that for you. So right now, I'm not choosing a striker. Just get me any two strikers, really. Just get me any two strikers, someone who can come on from the bench, because that bench is not good enough at all. And I don't think Arteta trusts Nelson anyway, and I feel like most of the fan base does not trust Nketiah and Nelson as well at the moment. And Smith Rowe, I mean, I would have probably brought him on earlier, because I mean, what could have gone worse? But Trossard played really well in the number 8 position in preseason, but I don't know. The thing is, Trossard has been very good for us since signing for us. If you're to like rate his time at Arsenal, Trossard, it would be like an 8 out of 10, or if it's at least 7 out of 10. But most of them, patchy. Sometimes he's very good, but sometimes he's very bad. And especially this season, most of the times he started a game is not been good. Champions League, I think his best performances for us this season, Trossard and Jesus have come in the Champions League. But in the league, every time Trossard has started this season, maybe 1 or 2 games is when he's been good. I can count like 5 that has not been good coming off starting the game. And I think Fulham was one of them at home today as well. There's a lot of games that Trossard has started that he hasn't been great. So I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong position. I don't know. Maybe he should be playing where Martinelli is. Maybe the number 8 position is not really for him. Maybe he should be playing as a false 9 sometimes. I also don't like him in that position. But whenever he doesn't play well again, what can he do? Unless he brings Smith Rowe on, and you can bring on Smith Rowe at halftime, and then, he pulls up again in the 70th minute. And then what do you do after that? So absolutely terrible game to lose. And then we brought in Nketiah and Nelson, obviously, for Martinelli and Zinchenko. Nelson we are basically playing a back 3 or back 2, just Gabriel and Saliba and White, and Nelson going forward as the fullbacks. And then came a lot of chances. From that point on, I didn't even see David Raya until the final minute, because we were just dominating the whole game. Cross after cross after cross, pass after pass after pass. Odegaard was really good. I think he was the only one who looked like he could do something. The passes were incredible. He created so many chances today. I think Ben White as well created a few as well, but so many chances. Martinelli and Jesus, especially Martinelli, I think it's been a run of games, like 4 or 5 games. Martinelli has not been good. And as I said, the fact that we are still second in Martinelli and Jesus and Saka have not been scoring goals, we're actually very lucky. We actually, like, the football gods have, looked out for us, and they've been like, January is coming. We are 3 days away from January. Let's get players. Not on January 31st. No, January 1st, 2nd, if possible. Now, there's a break. We do have... I think Crystal Palace or someone, or we have an FA Cup game against Liverpool. Please don't go out of that as well. That would be a nightmare, man. Don't lose to Liverpool at home. We've lost to West Ham. Please don't lose to Liverpool and Newcastle at home as well, please. I'd rather lose to Man United right now than, Liverpool, West Ham, those teams. No, please, God, no. We have Liverpool, and then after that, I don't think we're going to play for another 2 weeks. So there's a break between like 7th of January. We're going to play our next game 20-something. That 2 weeks, we need to get at least 2 signings done. One, hopefully, even before that, before the Liverpool game. We need players, because right now, if something crazy happens and Jesus is red carded and misses 3 games, even if he misses chances, or let's say let's use Odegaard as an example, because he's the one who played well today. If we remove Odegaard from that team, then we are so screwed. Who's going to create the chances? It's the only one who was creating chances. And Jesus today was a bad performance in terms of finishing, but again, if Jesus and Saka are not there, then we are so doomed. There's no one on the bench, absolutely no one. And it's not like players are injured. I mean, I know Fabio Vieira is injured, but most of our players that are injured are defensive players. Timber, Tomiyasu, Partey, not really forward players. So I'm hoping Arteta and they do have something up their sleeve. Hopefully, a big signing like a Declan Rice. Not that expensive, but someone who can change the ways for us. Trossard changed everything for us last January. If you can get another Trossard and another big signing like Tony and another person on loan, us someone. We need enough players. I don't think we have enough players. We have too many injury-prone players. Mitro, Tomiyasu, Partey, any of them can get injured anytime. Even Jesus, on top of that, you can get injured anytime. So we're kind of playing with fire, because if Rice, Saliba, Osaka, one of them goes down, we don't have anyone on the bench. I mean, because let's imagine Declan Rice is not there. Just look at the bench. Who are you going to bring on? Even if you start Jorginho, then you look at the bench, you basically will have like 3 defenders, 3 youngsters on the bench. It's not good enough. So we've lost 3 games out of the first 19. I don't think we lost 3 games last season until like February or something. So this season we've lost 3 games early. Liverpool ahead of us. Man City 3 points behind us, but they're basically same points with us. But I'll expect them to win the game in hand. So it's basically like we're starting afresh. We are 0 points, all of us, and as we're on the same points with Man City, 0 points, 0 points, and the season is starting today, and you have 19 games to go. We have half of the season to go. First of all, home games, you have to win all of them. You've already beaten Man City at home, and got beaten Man United, got something from Tottenham and all that. All the home games that are remaining, you have to win, and then we have to find a way to score goals. We are not playing badly against Aston Villa, and today we did not play badly. I even forgot about the Brighton game. I just remembered Brighton, we missed so many chances as well, and Brighton almost scoring in the 80th minute to make it 1-1. 3 games out of the last 4 games, 3 games we've missed like 20 chances. Aston Villa today and Brighton. You cannot do that in the Premier League now, especially in the Champions League. We're round of 16, so there's still a chance to do something big this season. But especially in the Champions League, you cannot go away to FC Port and start missing chances like that. They are going to get their chances and they're going to score 3 goals. Those teams are very good in the Champions League. So let's say the season is starting today. We are starting a fresh 19 games to go up against Man City. Liverpool has gotten a 1.2 point head start, whatever it is, and you have to go on from there. We have to let's hope that the likes of Salah going off from the African Cup and all that, it can kind of drop Liverpool's form. Let's hope that as well. And for Man City, man, I don't know, man. They don't have a good defense, but I can't see them losing so many games. So that means we have to win a lot of games. The most points, how many points do we have right now? Is it 40? 40? I think we have 40 points. I don't even remember, man. Like this title races, man, you guys, it's been so long since the last season in this, and it had been so long since we're in a title race. It is very stressful, man. Even a draw is terrible. Even if you're drawing with Liverpool, you feel like, oh my God, we're drawing with Liverpool. We need to win. The title races are very... I see how Liverpool fans have been feeling the last 4 years. It's dreadful being in a title race. Usually in the top 4 race, you're like, okay, fine, we lost, let's go to the next game. In the title race, you start looking at the points. You're like, how many points can we get? I think there's 51 more points to fight for, right? 51, 19 games to go. Yeah, around that. 57. Is that 57? I think we have 57 more points to fight for from the 19 games. I'm so serious. I think from those 57 points, I think you have to take like 50. How many? Maybe even more. So you can only afford to lose maybe like 2 more games at most, and that means not losing to Liverpool or Man City. And even now, like from those 19 games remaining, you'll need 15 or 16 to win the title, because Man City are capable of doing that. So we need an incredible new year, and only the thing that can help us do that is getting a big transfer window, having a big transfer window, and hoping that those the players that have not been finishing their chances and all that, Jesus, Martinelli, and all them, they can improve and can start taking their chances like they were last season. At this point, they all had like a bunch of goals, a bunch of assists. I think they had all created like 15 plus chances for each other through the league. It was amazing last season. So we need to have kind of that similar performance from those 19 games. If you have to win the league, you're going to have to win like 16 games. That's a monumental task, but you have to do it. You have to do it, because we've already dropped a lot of points. We've how many games have we lost? 3 games, and you've drawn like 4-3 or something. We need a big January transfer window. We have Fulham on 31st. Again, that you need to win. Fulham they've lost 3 games in a row, but before that they were beating people 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. We can't go there and just underestimate them. You cannot do that. In the league these days, you have to take every team seriously. Luton, Sheffield, West Ham, every team, you have to take them seriously. You have to. So basically the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes, we were missing a bunch of chances. Smith-Rowe came on for Trossard, and we gave a penalty as well. I gave away a penalty. Bro, they got a penalty, and the first thing I was looking at was, Is that Declan Rice was giving away penalties? Oh my God. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And icing on the cake for them, Declan Rice gives away. You could see how their fans were so happy in the crowd. They were so happy that Declan Rice gave away a penalty. So it's good to see that the only positive today was David Raya saving that penalty pretty much. That was the only positive today. That's the only positive we can take. Otherwise, we'd have had like in terms of performance, we didn't play badly. We created 30 shots. We tried to create 30 chances, 5 big chances from that. So in terms of creating, we were good. In terms of everything else, no. We considered from a corner, we with some giving away the ball too many times. Even Rice today gave away the ball like 2 or 3 times. Saka gave away the ball. I'm pretty sure Trossard gave away the ball. We're giving away the ball way too many times. And we are lucky that we didn't actually get punished from that. But it was almost 3-0 at home, and it would have been devastating, man. Absolutely terrible. So we need to bounce back quickly. I usually don't like playing the last game. I usually prefer playing the first game because last game everyone wins and you have to play the last game. I don't like it. So we need to bounce back very, very quickly. And then January transfer window, we need to be more serious than everyone else. We need to be more serious than everyone else. And then we need to pray that Tomiyasu, Partey, and Timber come back as soon as possible. I don't know if Partey has been picked by Ghana for the AFCON. He probably will, even if he's injured, but we need to bounce back very quickly. That's the worst game we would have lost. As I said at the beginning, these days I'd rather lose to Tottenham and Man United than lose to West Ham at home. We have this thing going on with West Ham and Newcastle that just popped up this season, and you don't want to lose to those teams, man. Now they've beaten us twice this season, and they've not beaten them this year at all. In terms of aggregate, they've put 8 goals past us. 7 goals past us. So they've beaten us like 7-3 on aggregate this year. Not West Ham, man. Not West Ham, man. That's the worst team to do that to us. The worst team in the league to do that to us. But let me see what you guys are saying before I go to the player ratings. Taiwo says it's painful. Very painful. As Mary says, it's very painful. Very, very painful. Let's go to the top. Dauda says, Glenn, these boys don't have what it takes to win the league. It's high time everyone settles for top 4. I think we'll definitely get top 4, but we need to get a lot of changes. You need to finish your chances. You need to get more signings. You have to improve on your depth. So you still have, obviously, at the moment, it's still Man City in a better position to win the league, but maybe it's a good thing that is how it has happened now, because January transfer window, we need to work on that. And I also don't want to go out of the FA Cup, so it would be a disaster if we go to the FA Cup in the first round. So getting Liverpool in the first round is not ideal, but it's at home, so ultimately we've lost 2 out of the last 3-4 games, so it's not good. Actually, the last 4 games we've won 1, right? We've drawn with Liverpool, we've lost to Aston Villa, we've lost to West Ham. So that reminds me of the form that we had last year, April, where we drew with West Ham, drew with Liverpool, lost to Brighton later on. We're kind of matching that form right now, so hopefully we can bounce back. Last season, something we did very well was bouncing back after losing games and drawing games. Hopefully we can do what we did last season now from January. Hopefully we were saving energy for January. Let's see. They can't score goals and they can't defend, says Dauda. Rubbish. Edward says, hey, bro, be honest, Martinelli Raya needs to be benched. I don't think Raya did anything wrong. He actually saved us from the point the score being worse. I don't think Raya was bad today. I don't think he was bad today. Up front, that was the prize. I even don't think Saliba and Ben White and those guys were bad at all. I think up front, that's where the problem is. Again, even Aston Villa, I don't think our defense was bad. We just turn off a bit and you concede a goal and that's it. And we don't score ours. Like if we could finish, we would not have been talking about losing. We would have been talking about winning 4-2 today. And it would have been, not talking about, I wouldn't care about them getting 2 goals, finishing. Raymond says Odegaard brilliant. Yep, I think he was the only one who was very good. Other attacking players need to pull up their socks in terms of their finishings. Zinchenko, very poor game to forget really quick. This is a game I definitely would choose to forget really quickly. Like bring on 2024 so that I can forget about 2023 as quickly as possible. Zinchenko is the other one I'd forgotten that was giving the ball. He did it like twice or thrice. We have to say right now, if you're to bench players right now, you'd say Martinelli and Zinchenko need to be dropped to the bench for 2-3 games, whatever. But then who do you bring on? Maybe now that Havertz will be back. Havertz, by the way, next game, you bring him straight to the starting lineup. I don't even care. I think I really missed Havertz today. We were putting in so many crosses. We didn't have the energy and the battling, the thing that people usually like. Havertz only tackles in midfield. I would have been so happy with those tackles in midfield today. Kudus and those guys were just running past. It was not good. Zinchenko, very poor game. I forget quickly. Playing like that, you can't win the league. I mean, playing like that, creating all those chances, you can, but you have to finish. But finishing your chances like that, you're not going to win the league. RK says this is a nightmare. West Ham defended so well, and the goalkeeper saved so many. He did. What happened to our team? Sad, man. Finishing. I don't know what happened from finishing from last season. You know how good Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard were last season in terms of scoring, even in the Champions League. Do you know how good Jesus has been in the Champions League this season? I don't know. It doesn't replicate the finishing in the league, and Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard in terms of finishing, they've not replicated from last season. From the top of the head today, Martinelli should have scored. That time you're claiming for a penalty, Martinelli should have scored. He missed a similar chance against Liverpool again, like when the goalkeeper was down. Saka hit the post. That could have been a goal. Jesus had 2 clean headers in the second half. At least score one of them, especially the one that he was all alone. You need to score. That's already 3 goals. We wouldn't have been talking about West Ham scoring 2 goals. I wouldn't care. So many missed chances. 30 shots without... And then again, the decision making, man. Nelson Smith throwing up some random shots from outside the box. Nelson switching to his left foot when he's all alone. BL says painful indeed. NS Chelsea fan Nippon very happy. For me, I think tonight is all down to a lack of fitness. Says now, is it fitness or just finishing? I think it's we had. I think this season. I had the commentator saying, I think we've broken a record for this game. We had the most touches in the opposition box without scoring. No one has ever had that many touches in the opposition box without scoring. I think this after it was like 30 shots, 30 touches in their box. I've not seen the stats at the moment, but I'm pretty sure it reached like 50. And possession, there's a time where I think we had 74% possession in the game. They had 36. We had 30 shots. They had like 5 or 6, and they still beat us 2-0. We didn't even score. That is finishing, because I think Odegaard did all that he could in terms of creating chances. Ben White was going forward and putting in good crosses. We did everything, and we got so many corners. So many corners today, like 5, 6 of them hitting the first man. That's why, again, I look at Trossard and Saka and Martinelli. I'm like, we need better crosses than that, man. We are the best team in terms of scoring corners. You need to put in better crosses than that. Look, there are different reasons. My problem is Vieira, and the rest says Lee. Poor decision, need a striker. Definitely should bring Smith Rowe before Nelson. I agree with that. I would have brought in Smith Rowe ahead of Nelson. We definitely need a striker. I agree with that as well. I agree with Vieira terrible, but we still wouldn't have scored. Even if Bowen's that goal would have been disallowed, they still would have beaten us 1-0. So William says too much pressure cannot get a goal. Our players need to relax, says William. And then the moment you get yourself into a 2-0 deficit, I usually don't like being desperate. It's sometimes it works, but being desperate sometimes, West Ham are just going to park the bus, and then you have like Nelson and Trossard and Saka trying to force things. That's the problem. Sincerely, I'm shocked, says Ayobami. I am as well, and very disappointed, man. Like I didn't think losing to West Ham would hurt more than even losing to Tottenham and Man United. I never thought I'd see that day. Arteta should be using Trossard and Martinelli together. I mean, he did. Stop. Okay. Arteta should stop using Trossard and Martinelli together. I don't think he uses Trossard and Martinelli together. I think he uses Havertz and Martinelli together. But actually, most Arsenal fans usually ask for Arteta to use Trossard and Martinelli more. Arsenal fans are still asking for a bench, despite him being one of our best players the last 2 months. But Trossard and Martinelli has not worked recently at all. Even when Trossard has played up front and Martinelli on the left, and Trossard as a number 8, Martinelli on the left, it hasn't worked. So, but for today, Ayobami, I don't think there's much you'd have done. Maybe you start Smith Rowe, but again, As I said, I did a poll right before the game. At around 500 of you voted, and 52% said they wanted Trossard to start. 31% said Smith Rowe, and 17% said Jorginho. So many people wanted Trossard to start. It didn't work. And unfortunately, most of the games that Trossard has started, it hasn't worked. He's been better coming off the bench, like against Everton and those teams. In the Champions League, he's been good with Jesus, but for some reason in the league, they haven't. William says, I enjoyed the game, but finishing in is the key play in Arsenal as by attacking. Again, as people, I hope people saw, next game, Havertz definitely starts for me, 100%. I hope you saw how important he is. I don't know if you'd have at least scored a goal today, but those crosses we're putting into the box, surely you'd have scored at least one of them. We need Thomas Partey and Tomiyasu back as soon as possible. We do, man. But the problem is, can you really depend on those players? They're always injured. That's the problem. We can't say we're not going to sign anyone in January because Partey and Tomiyasu are coming back. Because Partey can come by, I think they're even both going for AFCON and Asian Cup. If they recover right now, they'll only play one game before going to AFCON and going to the Asian Cup. So we'll not see Partey and Tomiyasu until February or something. So, and Japan and Ghana will probably do well in the competitions. I expect Japan to at least reach the semi-final. And Ghana, I don't know, the last AFCON they didn't do well, but I mean, they do have players like Kudus and those players, so you'd expect them to at least reach the quarterfinal and stuff. So I don't think you're going to get them back anytime soon. And if by some chance Ghana and Japan all reach the final, there's also has to be some rest after that, because these are players that are going to play regularly for their countries. So if they get fit right now, they're not getting fit for Arsenal. They're getting fit for Ghana and Japan, and that's the problem. 3 points going down the drain, says RK. Nightmare. The idea of Nane probably could click, even if it's not for a win, to build confidence in him. Not in a game like this, though. Not in a game where West Ham are so up for it, and you're losing is too much pressure. You need someone else you can bring off the bench who they have some work behind them. Some we've seen a bit some things that they've done before. We need players like Tony. As I said 5-10 minutes ago. Right now, I don't even care. Even if you bring for me Solanke, just bring a striker. Bring both of them. Tony and Solanke, I don't care. Just someone from the bench. Let's do the player ratings. So West Ham 2, Arsenal 0, West Ham 2. I can't believe I'm saying that. I was so ready to be like, you see, Rice chose the right team. David Dreyer, conceded 2 goals, but I mean, he saved a penalty. It's good to see that we have a goalkeeper who can save a penalty in an actual match. So I'm going to give David Dreyer 7 for saving the penalty. In terms of everything else, I need to rewatch the game. I don't think he'd have done anything with the first goal. Second goal, he'd have come out of the box to collect it. I don't know. It's a very good corner from Ward Prowse. He's an expert in terms of that. So I'm going to give David Dreyer 7. Saliba. I think Gabriel was the one who was marking Mavropanos, if I'm not wrong. There's a couple of situations where the ball was coming of Rice, and Saliba and Gabriel are dealing very well with them, with Kudus and Bowen. We never really gave Bowen a chance, like in behind and all that. Saliba and Gabriel are defending well. I'm going to give him a 7 for today. I don't think you can really blame him for anything. Gabriel, he was involved in that, whatever was happening with him and Zinchenko. He tried to clear the ball, it hit Zinchenko, and then they scored from that. And then I think he was the one who was supposed to mark Mavropanos. There's a couple of situations he did well, yeah. Otherwise, they would have counterattacked us like 3 or 4 times. So I'm going to give Gabriel a 6 out of 10. I don't think you can really blame him for it. He was trying to clear the ball. Maybe communication with Zinchenko should have been better. So 6 out of 10. Ben White, I think Ben White was good. Actually, even going forward, he was putting in some crosses and creating chances for us. Was he the one? I think he created a chance for Jesus, one of those headers, and Jesus missed it. So I think Ben White, in terms of going forward, he actually did well. He created chances. He was the one next to Odegaard, who were looking like would have gotten an assist today. I'm going to give Ben White a 7. Zinchenko, I mean, Kudus didn't expose him as much as we expect him to expose him. I mean, I expected Kudus to be on the ball like relentlessly throughout the game. But the number of times giving away the ball, too many times, man, too many times. And you're subbed off again. Usually when you're losing a game, Zinchenko doesn't get subbed off because he really goes forward for us. 5 out of 10 for Zinchenko. Declan Rice, he was attempting to score a few times from like the shots from outside the box and all. I think the first 20, 30 minutes, he was good. I think Declan Rice was really good the first 20, 30 minutes, putting in tackles and all that. He was trying to create a few. Second half, the first 10 minutes of the second half, he was the only one like trying to score as well. Him next to Odegaard, they were trying to make things happen. A couple of shots from outside the box, just over the bar, maybe unlucky and all that. I don't think they exposed us. They got 2 chances and scored from 2 goals. It's not like they created like 10 chances or anything like that. But definitely not his best performance. Actually, somehow, imagine this: Declan Rice has been a 9 out of 10 the whole season. His worst performance has probably been like 6, 7 out of 10, and both of them have been against West Ham. Already, like the worst performances from Declan Rice have been against West Ham. It's. Just bring Fulham right now, please, man. Just above average. I'd give him. He gave away a penalty. Yeah. Terrible. I think he even slipped just before that. 6 out of 10. That's the worst I think I've given him this season. So the monumental rating. Giving Declan Rice, I usually give him 8, 9 out of 10 every game. 6 out of 10. Same with Gabriel. Good moments, bad moments. Odegaard, I think he was a better player best player by far. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. He was the only one who looked like he was going to score today. The first 20 minutes of the game, the skills he was showing to pick out Saka and Jesus. Second half as well. Sometimes maybe he was holding on to the ball too much. I saw that as well. But I think he was the only one who could make things happen today. So I'm going to give Odegaard an 8 out of 10. Trossard. Did he do? He didn't do much, to be honest. We got so many corner kicks, and Saka and Trossard are not that brilliant. So Trossard, I'm just going to give him a 5 out of 10 average performance. Martinelli on the other side, Martinelli on the wing. Not his best performance again. Once again, missed chances. And these days, since the Konate day as well, like every time he tries to go past a player, it's like the pace has disappeared somehow. 5 out of 10 for Martinelli, not great at all, just average. Bukayo Saka was trying to make things happen, first half, second half. Not his best as well. They're going to give him a 6 out of 10. Although he was unlucky a couple of situations, he had a good head in the first half. He also hit the post, so 6 out of 10 for Bukayo Saka. Gabriel Jesus, you have to score at least one of those chances, man. You have to score. Those are bad misses, especially the second one. That's a bad miss. I'm going to give Jesus a 4 out of 10. Not great. And then, now it's like the people who've been asking for a striker for 1 year, that like fuels their opinion in terms of that. I do agree, need a striker. I still think Jesus is a starter for Arsenal, maybe not as the number 9, maybe in behind the striker or next to a striker, or sometimes if he doesn't perform well, you have someone else to bring off the bench. So I'm going to give Jesus a 4 out of 10. From the bench, Nketiah, he had an overhead kick that he was unlucky with, but even him, he came on and gave away the ball like twice or something. I'm going to give Nketiah 6 out of 10. Nelson, he tried, I guess, but again, decision making from outside the box could have been better. 5 out of 10. Smith Rowe, how long was he on? 12 minutes. I think for the time he was on, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. For the 10 minutes he was on, I think he was slightly better. 6 out of 10. Mikel Arteta, starting lineup, we can't really do anything. That's all we have. We have to start Zinchenko. We have to start Trossard. There's no Havertz. You have to start Martinelli because you cannot really just start Nketiah or Nelson from the start. I don't think many people will be happy with that. Substitutions, again, I also don't think you can blame him for subs. We don't have anyone we can bring on. Maybe apart from Smith Rowe coming on earlier, I would have said that, yeah. Maybe Trossard was not playing good enough and Martinelli was not playing good enough. And with Smith Rowe played a full season for us at left wing. So just bring him on and just try something different. I agree with that. We conceded 2 goals. We didn't score a goal. I also don't think that is his fault because we had 30 shots. That is not the player's fault. So ultimately we lost the game. So I'm just going to give him an average 5 out of 10. And the worst game to lose, man. David Moyes coming to the Emirates and winning for the first time ever, beating his former player Teta. West Ham beating us for the second time this season after he took Declan Rice from them, losing the first home game of the season. just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong today, man. I just need a sleep. I just need a nap. 5 out of 10 for Mikel. That was terrible in terms of finishing. January, you have business to do, but we need to bounce back against Fulham. Not even 1-0. We need to get our goal difference back from this game. We need to go there and put a big performance. Now, Fulham will be confident after seeing us, losing to Aston Villa and losing today. They will be confident, and they've been on form just before they lost the games. He will be, oh God, he will be going to come and score against us as well, isn't he? Well, to-do list, definitely don't get on Twitter today. Don't get on WhatsApp. Don't get on Facebook. Don't get on TikTok. Don't get on Instagram. Let me just wait for the next game. The preview will be out tomorrow. Let's just move to the Fulham game right away. Not the best results. Let me take the last comments and then we can move forward. Stansler says, poor selection, set pieces, go. What is going on? We need change in front three. White Zini needs to be dropped. Call KT back. KT just got back from an injury for like 3-4 months. That's the other thing. Can you really depend on Tierney? Can you really depend on Tierney? I also don't think Tierney is the solution. I'd rather just buy another defender, just wait for Timber and Tomias to come back. The way we play, Tierney is not going to fit. He could be, he's better than Zinchenko in terms of defending, but the way we play, I don't think Tierney fits in terms of that. If you watch Tierney play last season, when you're trying to keep the ball on the ground, Tierney is going to hit a long ball. I don't think Ateta wants that in his team. He wants control of the possession, and players like Zinchenko and players like Odegaard are the ones who are going to do that for you. So you maybe ask for another defender to be signed. That one I agree. Kip says difficult time, but Martin Saka holding ball and brilliant save by Raya. Yeah, I guess that's the only positive you can take. George says, at what point did Ateta see fit to release Xhaka and Tierney? As I said, as explained for Tierney, Tierney does not really fit the way Arsenal play. We need to move on from that. Let's get someone else who's better than Zinchenko in terms of defending and move on from Tierney. Tierney is not going to come back. And Tierney is always injured anyway. He just came back from like a 3-4 month injury. So we already have enough injury-prone players. Xhaka, I definitely would have loved to keep Xhaka. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if he's the one who really wanted to leave, but Xhaka, I definitely would have kept Xhaka. I did say by releasing Xhaka, cover to average Zinchenko, he was providing cover to the average Zinchenko, releasing fantastic Tierney. I don't think Tierney was fantastic. He was better than that defending. Again, the way we play, Tierney does not fit the way we play. He's not going to keep the ball on the ground and pass around with the Odegaard and Saliba at the back. Is not going to happen. Since the start of the season, we've been poor. We haven't been convincing like last season. The best position we can finish this season is third. We cannot finish. I guess you're saying higher. Let's see. We definitely need to take our chances. Again, I'm not happy today's result. Losing to West Ham is the worst thing that could have happened to me. That has ruined the New Year and the Christmas in between, losing to West Ham. But I don't think we can start saying, sell Saka, sell Jesus, though. Trossard is terrible, sell him. And they need to improve 100%, though. Let's remember that it's not the end of the world. We're still second on the table, or let's say third. If Man City win the game in hand, we are third, but you're still in and around. But we don't have too much room to make any more errors like that. We don't have too much more room to give away goals like we did against Wolves and Man United and those teams. We don't have too much room to miss so many chances again. Now we basically got ourselves in a position where we can't afford to lose again too many games. Last season, we got ourselves so ahead we could afford to lose one game and draw one, but this time, since like we're chasing now Liverpool, we cannot afford to drop points or miss chances like this. Now we really have to do everything right from this point on. You can only afford to drop like 3 games and not losing, maybe lose 2 and draw 1, or draw 1 and lose 2. Did I say the same thing? We get 3 games out of the 19 remaining. You have to win like 16 of them, and even that might not be enough. Bernard says we need a striker. We can't win the league with Ketia and Jesus. We definitely need a striker in January. for 2-3 reasons. Obviously, we are creating so many chances we are missing. Number two, I think Jesus is still a starter for us, but when he's not scoring goals, he needs someone on the bench to help out. And number three, we can still have Jesus like in the number 10 position next to Odegaard and just have someone else up front, just different, something different. Some games like this, maybe it's not a game where you can just pass around, especially in the second half. You need to be direct, just put in the crosses, get Nelson and Saka on the wings, just put in the crosses. You need to be direct. So, and we can be direct, but you don't really have anyone in the box to finish. So that's a nightmare. Man of the match for me is Odegaard, but overall in the game, probably their goalkeeper. He saved everything that went to him. That's a nightmare defeat, man. Losing to West Ham. So that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. So we are now second on the table. We have Man City are playing before us. I think on Saturday they're playing against Sheffield. That's 3 points, so they'll be ahead of us before we play on Sunday. Yeah, on Sunday. So on Sunday, Fulham must-win game, and not even 1-0. Need to get a big win in that particular game, and then after that we can take a break from Premier League. We're not playing another Premier League game for like 3 weeks. Our next game will be an FA Cup game, which we also cannot afford to lose to Liverpool. So we need to move on quickly. Let's hope we can move on quickly. I appreciate you guys watching. Tough day, tough night. West Ham.